Hey boy, you a man-child.
There were a few videos that were really pivotal in how I came about learning about tiny houses, alternative styles of living, and also, living with more freedom and being free from debt and things like that. So I'd like to share those with you. In the playlist section of my channel, there's about 12 videos inside the Tiny House Inspiration playlist. And you will find some really cool videos, including a handful of them from a lady called Kirsten Dirksen, who works with her husband and sometimes brings her kids on journeys all around the world. Right now she's in Japan, I think. And she goes around and interviews tiny house owners, people living in tiny houses, builders, people in the industry, people who have built their own, just basically lots and lots of people. She's put together a few amazing documentaries which have been really inspirational for me. So have a check of her work. Her style is so beautiful in that she just goes there with the camera. I don't know how many questions she asks or what she does to inspire people to talk so freely and openly about their tiny homes, but she gets it out of them. She really does, and it's really amazing to watch. So, personally, I hope that in the future I'll be able to go around and interview people who have their own tiny homes as well. But right now I'm focused on my own, so there you go. All right, there's also a crew called Exploring Alternatives. I can't remember the names of the people behind that, but they're fantastic. I think they're a couple. They're from Canada, and they do much more produced videos, much shorter in length most of the time, but they get right down straight to the point. They have beautiful scenic views of where a lot of tiny houses are built and sited. They really get in there and help people sort of, articulate some of the amazing details that they've built into their homes and how they've personalized their homes around themselves. So check them out. Also, there's a lady called Anna White, and I think she does videos with her husband as well. Her videos are fantastic. I haven't watched as many of them as I have with the other two that I mentioned, but when it comes down to it, Anna White's video about sharing her plans for one of the tiny homes that she built was actually the first YouTube video that I ever watched on tiny homes. So I've got to mention her. She's really important. And yeah, I've watched some of her DIY and how-to type videos, and they're really informative. So definitely check that out. Next one is Seeker Stories. Now Seeker are, I guess there's some kind of like a video producing network of some kind, and they've got several channels, but in particular Seeker Stories is the one that I've been looking at. They've got a playlist on tiny homes and living off-grid, and they've got some really amazing videos there, including one of this guy who's built a tiny home on a huge portion of land that he has. He's a snowboarder. He used to snowboard professionally, but has since retired and presumably is doing some other things related to snowboarding and adventure sports. But he's created a really beautiful cabin from his own hands in the middle of his land, and basically right outside of his door he can go snowboarding straight away. So it's a really amazing video, and there are lots and lots of cool videos that Seeker Stories have. The final thing I'd like to mention is Tiny Homes Australia. Now these guys haven't really produced very many videos yet, and they're very new, but they're the only Australian-based tiny homes dedicated channel. They're telling stories about Australian tiny home builders and tiny home owners, and the broader sort of tiny home sector or industry or community. So definitely check them out. They're a super new channel, but they've got hopefully plenty of new content coming soon about all the stories that are happening locally here in Australia. All right, finally, last one I want to mention is Happen Films. Now these guys are a film production company that do sort of like alternative living type movies. They've got a really cool documentary on a group of people who went out to live somewhere in Victoria in Australia for 1 year, living out in the land as basically like an eco-community type experiment, a social experiment almost. That's a really interesting video. So check out the show notes for links to all these videos that I mentioned, and also of course check out the actual playlist itself. It's all there. You will find it inspiring, you will find it practical as well, and you will hopefully, as Kirsten Dirksen says, fall into a rabbit hole where you will spend many years maybe exploring about the tiny house movement. So I hope you enjoy the videos. Thanks.
That's no moon. It's a space station.